It's hard to convey how long I sit here staring at the camera before I feel like I have achieved a human enough like pose in order to begin. One of those mysteries of theater. Anyway, let's talk about figuring out your next right step. I am I am finishing up my 19th year of teaching. If you look closely, you probably see a lot of like junk in the background. I spent like literally 10 minutes trying to clear enough space on my side desk here to where there wasn't so much debris that builds up over the course of the year. And in preparing to end this year, I've been thinking about next year, year 20. Year 20 is a milestone for teachers in Illinois. It means you reach a certain level in the pension system to where if I at year 20, when I finish, if I was done teaching at 60 years old, I get a certain bigger percentage of retirement. It's not enough to live on, so most folks don't bow out at 20, but it's a thing you can do. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, if next year's year 20, so I've got presumably between from now 15 to 20 more years of teaching because I've got a younger daughter, I've got a mortgage, and I'm the kind of person who doesn't want to retire then do nothing, and so I'm like, well, I'm not going to retire until I know what I'm going to do after I'm done teaching. And so I'm trying to think like, what's going to be the next phase of my life? And why am I talking to you about this? Because you're a student. Because it's not an automatic process for adults. I talk to so many students who are like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, great. None of us do. Get in line. And that's kind of what I want to get at today is that there's not always an easy or clear path forward in life, in your career, in your relationships, whatever it is. And we can become paralyzed trying to find the next right thing. Obviously, you don't want to choose the next wrong thing. Mistakes will happen. It's part of life. Learn from them, make amends when you can, when you need to, and then move on and do better. But the next right thing can be a paralyzing thought process, especially if you're looking for the next perfect thing. That's never going to come out. You're never going to find the perfect thing. And if you do find the perfect thing, you won't know it was perfect until many weeks, months, years later when you reflect and thought, oh, that was the perfect choice. You won't know until way, way later. And so maybe the next right thing isn't the thought process. Maybe it's just the next best thing. And not best as like, oh, here's good, better, best. I mean, like, what's the next best? Next meaning like, it isn't the best, but it's close to it. Like, what's the next thing that's an improvement? What's the next step I can take that's got a clear pros, and hopefully more pros than cons, more good than bad? What's the next thing that will move me somewhere more positive than where I'm at now? And so that's what I'm kind of doing. And so how do we do that? How do we try and figure that step out? Well, I'm doing research. I've been looking at degrees or certificates I could go back to school and earn. I've got some classes coming up at a nearby university, so I'm trying to figure out like where do I go from here? What do I need to learn to make the next move? So I'm doing that. I'm asking colleagues. I'm asking other teachers. Hey, what do you think would be a possible career move for me in the future? About try to jump ship tomorrow. But if I was going to make a change at some point in the next 15 to 20 years, what should I look at doing? What skills do you see in me as an outside observer? Or what flaws do you see in me that I need to work on before I can make a move? But what do you see in me that I could then perhaps help inform my decision process? And of course, I'm going to gather a bunch of material together, a bunch of thoughts. I'm going to take it to my life coach and best friend, my wife, and I'm going to walk it through with her. And so you're like, well, I don't have a wife. You've got a girlfriend, you've got a boyfriend, you've got parents, do you have a good friend, do you have a mentor, a professor, a teacher, a coach you can go to kind of walk things through. And in the end, the decision is going to come down to what do you want to do, but hopefully with helpful input, with research, with real self-analysis, and then with a good set of listening ears from a really close friend, you can sort through and figure out what the next best thing is, and then you make your move. And you don't make a move and figure out, okay, I'm going to get on the roller coaster and I'm going to let it ride. No, you put all the effort into making that decision the best decision. You go all in. You don't just make the decision and let things happen around you. You embrace your decision, you go for it, and you make the best of it. And you know what? If you're wrong, you do your best in that situation, and then you look for a way out. You don't try and leave people in a lurch, but you look for a way out that doesn't damage the place you are more than perhaps already is damaged, and doesn't do you long-term damage by staying in a place that isn't healthy for you. I literally applied for a part-time job doing something, and it sounds very interesting, very fun, very rewarding. I applied for it last night, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, if this goes bad, how do I get out of this thing? And that's a situation I might have to deal with, and I have to figure out, how do I leave this situation well? How do I leave it in a positive way, or as positive as I can? There are times when things are so toxic, so damaging, so harmful to you, you just got to pull the ripcord and jump ship, right? I totally get that. But most of the time, there's a way to leave as positively as you can, and that's what you need to look for. So how do you figure out the next best thing? You do the research, you think through it, you self-analyze, you talk to friends and family, you talk to coworkers, get some real assessment of your skills and maybe your weaknesses, and then you sit down with a good friend, a relative, somebody who knows you well and cares about you. You walk through it, you weigh the pros and cons, and then you go with what you think is the next best thing. That's it, guys. Have a good day. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.